We'll start the council meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024 at 207 West 6th Street, Marshfield. Call to order, roll call. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please identify any conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we'll move on to item D, public comment period, correspondence. At this time, I will recognize those members of the public who have indicated a desire to address the council. Upon recognition by me, persons may address the council, first stating their name and address. The council may act on emergency matters introduced by members of the public. Our first response is from William Painter.
Good evening, William Penker, 600 Sycamore Ave. As a longtime council watcher, I have seen too many bland spring elections with little or no competition for aldermanic seat, and as a result, little or no debate, or on or off.
There we go.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. As a longtime council watcher, I've seen too many bland spring elections, little or no competition for aldermanic seats, and as a result, little or no debate and discussion. Thank you to those concerned residents who have submitted their nomination papers, so there will be competition for some of the expiring terms on the Common Council. I hope we will hear discussion and debate about where the city has been, where it is now, a view for the future. There are significant issues facing the city. Among these are the nearly empty Mill Creek Business Park, housing, urban renewal, the 2nd Street project, and moving the city garage. In addition, how successful have the city and its partners been in meeting the goals of the comprehensive plan and the downtown master plan? And there is always concern about property taxes as well as the city's relationship with the medical center. I urge the candidates to have vigorous public debate about the issues facing Marshfield, not once, but as often as possible. Aldermen just don't represent their districts. They are also aldermen for the entire city, and the public deserves to know where they stand on vital issues, sooner rather than later. A point frequently understated, if not forgotten, is the aldermen, in less than a month after election, vote to approve or deny the mayor's appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees. There are at least 20 of them that need citizens in order to fulfill their missions. In the past, some aldermen have suggested that the mayor deserves his or her appointments. I disagree. The public deserves to have the best appointments. First, there's an evaluation of the candidates and appointment by the mayor. Next is evaluation of the candidates and approval or disapproval by the Common Council. When considering the appointments, whether they are new appointments or reappointments of current members, I urge all to be thoughtful in considering the candidates' letters of interest, their background and technical knowledge, and the ability to serve. In addition, are there any agendas, positive or negative? For those seeking reappointment, I urge you to also consider trust. When there is oversight over activities and/or personnel, to what extent do those affected by that oversight trust the person seeking reappointment? Trust does affect operations, leadership, and the ability of personnel to effectively complete a mission. And there is no obligation to reappoint. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens that would like to make comments? Any other citizens would like to make comments? Third time, any citizens? Thank you very much. Item E, approval of minutes, January 9th, 2024, and January 16th, 2024, special meeting. We have a motion by Alderman Stauber, second by Alderman Werman. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Staff updates.
I'm not aware of any this evening.
Thank you. Mayor's comments. I have no comments this evening. Item H, council comments. Alderman Weigel.
Thank you. I'll keep it brief, but I think one of the things, and maybe this is right on the coattails of the previous public comment, we need to be approaching the next 2025 budget now. We were able to get by last year by just postponing some hirings, but we can't postpone those hirings if we hire them this year. So we know walking into the 2025 budget, we're already behind the 8 ball with $340,000, if I'm not mistaken. That's a pretty sizable amount. If that's going to come only from cuts, I think we're going to have a very unhappy population, and I wouldn't blame them. So we need to come up with something to either, I don't know what the answer is. My point is that we should be addressing it sooner than later, not waiting to September or October like we normally do. We should come up with at least that $340,000, I would say, in the first quarter if possible, so we at least have a good plan going forward. We have the luxury of time. Let's take advantage of that luxury. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Any other council members? Seeing none, reports from commissions, boards, and committees.
I think I'm up before that.
Oh.
City Administrator's update. Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Okay, I apologize.
That's okay, no problem. I have several items, and the one that was going to be fourth, I'll now move up to number 1 after the comments by Councilmember Weigel, because I just want to dovetail on his comments, that I would like to see us schedule 1, possibly 2 even. We'll see how it goes. Whatever number of special meetings we have to do just what he's talking about. You know, late in the process, we found out about the $340,000 loss in pilot revenue for Marshfield Utilities. We obviously have a number of other different challenges we're facing. We talk about the clinic case and what could come from that. So I would suggest that with your blessing, I send out feelers looking for scheduling a special meeting of the council, maybe like a 5 o'clock meeting before the regular council meeting. Maybe you can go 5 to 6:30 and then have a break and then the regular meeting to talk specifically about the 2025 city budget and start preparing for it now. I do agree with Councilmember Weigel that in the next 2 to 3 months, we really should get a handle on where this is going. We talked about using Communications Director Tom Lauk's assistance to do a survey, and I think that's a good idea. We should work hard to frame what that's going to look like, how it's going to read, so we can get good input from our public and what they see as the issues and the concerns and what they feel can be cut if something needs to. But we also need to look at revenue sources as well. So unless there's an objection, I would plan on sending out a feeler to try and line up a date for a first meeting along those lines. In addition, tonight, I put on the agenda responses to recent requests from the council under items for future agendas. I do apologize. Back in the latter part of the summer, early fall, I thought we were pretty caught up on some of those that have been coming, and now I see that we've fallen behind. It looks like there's maybe as many as a dozen items that some of you have brought up that we haven't actually gotten back to you, or at least we haven't publicly gotten back to, even if we've done some things behind the scenes. So what I want to do is, starting in the next meeting, have at least a couple of those on every single agenda until we get caught up, starting with the most timely ones that have been requested. And I think you know what some of those are, the more pressing ones, but walking through February and March and getting caught up in the things that you've requested, more information on, reports on. In some cases, it could be just a written report that's sent out to you that if you have questions, let us know, but making sure that we address those items. Next, I want to announce publicly, which I don't think we've done, that we have hired our first Assistant City Administrator / Community Development Director. Her name is Carrie Edmondson, and she'll be starting here on February 26th, about a month from now. Has a strong community development and planning background, and we look forward to having her on board here in about a month. Question was raised recently to me about the status of the Mill Creek Business Park Covenant changes that we've been working on. Tom's been involved, Josh Miller as well. And I've been part of it along with the city attorney. Had a meeting just yesterday, actually talking about some of the issues that we're working through to make sure we get it right the first time, hopefully. The Covenant Committee has already had one meeting just before Christmas. We'll be scheduling another meeting soon for them to go over them, talking to the park tenants to make sure that they are comfortable with any changes. Hopefully they will be. And then Plan Commission and EDB will see it. the goal is to get council to consider and hopefully approve the covenant changes in March. Perhaps I would think in the second meeting of March. We want to keep that process going for a number of reasons. It's been out there for a while, and obviously we have somebody interested in possible development project out there. I also want to note what I put on your tables tonight, which is sent to you by email. There's a housing summit coming up in Wisconsin Rapids on March 7th. I'd love to have as many of you go who can make it work. It's a daytime meeting, seminar or workshop, so I know not everybody can make it, but it's a Thursday, March 7th, and we can carpool. Let me know if you want to be registered for that event. I believe it costs $15. And the county's been working really hard on a housing initiative. They have a task force working. Tom and I were part of another one of their meetings today online, and some good things are happening down in Rapids. And then along those same lines, just want to add that the housing team here, we haven't gotten it going. I apologize. There's been a lot of things happening. I just want to verify that the people on that team in this group, which would be Natasha, Mike, and Derek, want to continue to serve. And if that's the case, getting the other people on board, new people if we need to, and looking for a meeting in the first week in February. So let me know if there's any changes in the people who are listed as city or CDA representatives from this body, and we'll get a meeting set up and get an agenda going. And I do apologize. There's been a lot going on to deal with around here lately. That's all I've got. Take any questions. Otherwise, that's my report for tonight.
Alderman Stauber.
Steve, it's not like you have to shovel snow, right? I do have one question regarding the Covenant Committee and the changes that are pending. And I'll put it in the form of a question, kind of a suggestion, but is there any consideration for environment sustainability when talking about future covenants? Meaning, one example would be, a few less parking stalls and a few more trees kind of thing. But I just wonder if that was a box that can be checked during discussions.
We have looked at parking and landscaping along with stormwater and other things. I think that, whatever we're doing, is going to apply to people going forward. We're not going to go retroactively back to people and say, hey, look, you no longer comply. Sorry, Prevention Genetics or whoever. But we can certainly take a look at that as part of it. I guess we haven't talked specifically about that to this point, but we can certainly look at it. What's up? Oh, okay. Good catch.
Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you, Steve, for that report. And one more time, reports from commissions, boards, and committees. Seeing none, move into the consent agenda. Motion by Alderman Worman, second by Alderman Varsho. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote to accept. Thank you, it is accepted. Then we can take item L out, which is action on items removed, because nothing was removed from the consent agenda. Item M, presentation, Communications Director 2023 Year in Review, presented by David Ballerstein, Communications Specialist.
Let me get the screen up here.
No.
There we go. Good evening, everyone. David Ballerstein, Communications Specialist, City of Marshfield. Just want to give a little year in review from 2023. I know I had some requests to just give out some basic information of what's happened, what's been going on in the communications department, more so on the multimedia side is mostly what you all know I do. Last year, here, if we can get that going here. There we go. So July 1st was, we got a brand new analytics tool that's through our company that we go through, that we bought the broadcaster from. And this monitors activity on like people that stream from Apple, Roku, Amazon, from their Android, iOS phone, the streaming apps, through the Marshfield Broadcasting app that you can download on your smart TV. This is where that all is monitored on there now. So we only have the last 6 months here on there, but the analytics on here is kind of goofy. So you have the total viewers. That means those are the ones that are the returning viewers that watch any one of the 3 channels or video on demand at any given time. The new visitors, that's exactly what they are. They were a visitor. They came once, they're gone. So overall in that 6 months period, we had 2,769 viewers. You can see towards December 2nd, which is actually November 30th on there was a huge spike in viewership that one day. If you don't know what happened on November 30th, that was the Main Street Marshfield Parade. We did that, broadcast that live. So there was heavy viewership on there. So we can break it down by the day and by the hour of when people are watching. We know when they're watching any of the meetings, like council, there's always a huge spike, especially when there's a hot topic going on in there. The next one here, hope I didn't skip something. This is going to be the analytics dashboard of the United States. This is showing where people are watching our coverage on any one of the 3 channels. So I know the outline's kind of hard to see probably on the United States, but you can see it's pretty heavy throughout all of Wisconsin, Upper Illinois. But you can see that there's heavy viewers in other parts of the United States. So, that's kind of interesting to see where the viewership is going. It might be somebody from Marshfield that's on vacation that's tuning into a meeting because they're not here or they like what we do. The next one here is the worldwide map. So the big blob, of course, that's the United States. We got a little bit of viewership up in Canada and Europe, Japan, and Cuba. I don't know who's down in Cuba, but they're watching. So it's kind of interesting to see those kind of analytics, of where everybody's watching the programming from. So all this is from everything from live to people watching the video on demand. So people going back, watching a council meeting, and so on and so forth. So that just kind of gives you an update there of where people are from. We can't track the person per se or their age group on YouTube. I'll get to that here in a second here, but we don't collect any names. It's just when they watch. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what the penetration rate is on there. I had one question too. Someone asked me if the Marshfield Communication Department only broadcast or transmits on cable through the Marshfield area. That's false. So we are part of the Wausau-Rylander market. So we are part of a market, if in the corporate world. So that Wausau-Rylander market, that's our cable broadcast penetration area is. That's where our channels are viewed through all those counties that's within that market there. So we're just not secluded just to Marshfield. So I could be up in Rylander and watch us if I'm on vacation. But so it's a good way to use it as a tool platform, even if it's promotional stuff for the city, to put something like that, hey, come visit Marshfield, you put that out there. It's seen all through there on the cable system. But of course, on the streaming, it's worldwide. So I just thought I'd give that out to you there. So. And then if you see that number on the map, that's 134. That's a ranking through the Nelson system. So if I had a commercial that played on a broadcaster in town, they know what they're going to charge me. So if I go to Milwaukee, I know I'm probably going to pay 4 times the price to put my ad on because they're number 36 in the ranking. So that's how Nelson's does that. But just a little thing on that. From the last 6 months, we have the analytics on this. The top 25 programs from July 1st till the end of the year. It's kind of small on the screen. I'm sorry for that. The first 3 are the live streams, so the government channel, the producers channel, and the Marshfield Now channel. You'll see the viewers and the total views and viewers on there. And then the first actual video on demand that people are watching is the Marshfield Now program that we do. And then for some reason, there must have been something going on. The Common Council from 7-11 was the highest watched council meeting in during that 6 months. So there must have been a topic that people were going back to it or watching it for some reason. So we get that kind of analytics of what is being replayed and watched heavy. So it just kind of gives you an idea that we can track this kind of information. So it's kind of interesting. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So just want to give a total on hours for live and playback. For all of last year, we provided 135 hours, 11 minutes, and 40 seconds of live broadcasted meetings, Common Council, EDB, and so on. That's the total amount of hours that we put in for the live portion like we're doing tonight. On the government channel, 991, we played back 4,375 hours, 22 minutes, and 11 seconds worth of media. So that's all the meetings that we record and play back. That's the total amount that we rebroadcasted over the cable system, which would count to about 183 days worth continuous playback. On the government channel, the YouTube channel, we had 11,934 viewers with a total of 2,310.4 hours watched. So that's strictly all government meetings that people retune back in on the YouTube channel to view it in that platform. On the Marshfield the Marshfield Now channel, which is the professional end of the channel there, we provided 7,736 hours, 52 minutes, and 53 seconds worth of playbacks on there, which is 322 days. The producer's channel has a little less because they don't broadcast 24 hours with programming, so they were a little lower at 4,783 hours. In studio production, so everything that we recorded in the studio, we put in about 112 hours worth of recorded studio time. That would be like council preview, post-council, and all the other programs that we do up in the studio there. So you break that down, it's like almost a little over 5 days continuous recording. So that'd be like having Steve Barg and Lois up there doing council preview for 5 days, not, having any sleep, so. And then between myself and Tom, we put in about 392 hours worth of editing. So that just kind of tells you the amount of work that we're doing, and we stay pretty busy. So, and then the last one here, that was just a breakdown by series. I'm trying to keep this a little short here for you. So that just kind of tells you the difference between the government channel and the Marshfield Now channel of the programs, how many hours that each series played throughout on both sides there. So you can kind of see that the Common Council gets a whole lot more play time since, it's not a half-hour program, it's usually 2 hours. So, but that just kind of gives you a breakdown of total. I will note that at the very bottom there's 1,590 hours unaccounted for that I didn't put in there. That would be everything from feature films, specials, documentaries, PSAs, promos, because I'm not going to list them because they're not part of the everyday schedule. So that's what I did in there. So any questions? No? Yes.
I have one question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Sometimes I hear on WDLB some of the programs. Mm-hmm. How many of those are shared with? So
we share, Kevin, I think we share about 3-4 programs with you in audio format. Yeah, every week. So post-council, council preview, Heroes from Home when I have enough production on that one, and the Marshfield Now program that we have at least a decent program that can be transferred into an audio format that's worthwhile. So yes, we do share some of the video into an audio format.
Because I hear a lot of positive feedback from people that listen to WDLB because they think that's something neat because it brings them back to home as opposed to just listening to music. Yeah. It gives them that little extra warm fuzzy. Yeah, I hear a lot of positive too there from Kevin there, and I thank them very much. Okay, Alderman Stauber?
So my question is, do you sell airspace or
No.
advertisement?
We don't, we can't, but we could do sponsorships. So there would be some underwriting that would have to be done, that would have to be proper. So I couldn't say that this was sponsored by Frank's Subs, the $2 footlong. I can't say a dollar amount in there. So I could just say it's Frank's Subs, that's it. You know, so you got to be kind of careful not to make it sound like an ad. And we would have to have somebody to at least do the smart underwriting, you know. Maybe Mr. Wolfram would like to do that for us, but I'm not going to ask them to.
Because we're starting out, as you heard earlier, we're starting out 340,000 in the red, so
Mary.
we could use some help.
Yeah, so that'd be a discussion for another day, and we'll get to that there, so. All right, well, I'll go into.
Alderman Werman had a question also.
Yes.
Yep.
I can wait too, though. If you
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. I actually have a couple. So apologies.
No, that's
Brand. So for one, I'm going to go back to for the last 9 months that I've been on the council, I'm going to reiterate, I feel like communications is probably the most undervalued, underutilized department that we have here. Like this, seeing these analytics, I was like, wow, this is fantastic information to have. And also you guys have fantastic programming, and I feel like we're not capitalizing enough on that. So part of my question to you is, for 2024, what is our goal? Like, what's our growth plan for communications?
I think it would be exactly what you said, communications. You know, communications is a strong thing that, you know, binds everyone together. You know, the more information and knowledge we have, you know, the better we all are. And I think that's going to be the main focus this year, and properly getting it out on time too, you know, just not from us, but, you know, as a whole, you know, we all can do things to be better. You know.
Absolutely. And that was part of my lead in is, so like I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the statistics you provided, which is amazing, by the way. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, we have a town of 19,000 people, and I'm looking at 6 months of data here and the Common Council 7-Eleven meeting, and we referenced it as a high amount. We had 40 viewers, and there's roughly maybe 25 people in this room on average. So I'm talking about 65 people that are really engaged in the Common Council meeting,
right,
outside of 18 to 19,000. So what I want to know is, like, what can we do to help better support, get that out there more and make that more well known? Like, if we've got 18,000 people in the city and everybody's concerned about budgets and things like that and what's going on in the city, how can we better support communications to make sure that we have a heck of a lot more than 40 people watching online or nobody attending in person?
I think it's getting the information ahead of time in a timely manner. If someone says, oh, hey, we got to do this at the last minute, it's kind of hard to let everybody know in a proper amount of time. It's kind of like a waterfall, you know, the water falls here and then gets in the brook, but then it's going to take a while to trickle all the way down the stream. You know, that's really how information is. I mean, if you open up the floodgates, you know, it's just going to be overwhelming, but you provide enough information at the right time and let it go through its process. You know, more people are more understanding, get more knowledge, you know, and not get confused at the last minute. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we should definitely pursue that in a future meeting here, whether we do a separate meeting with communications or just in a future council meeting. The last thing I wanted to ask is all these analytics, there's a lot of programming that you guys do that is, you know, 24 hours. And I think we shoot a lot of it and just replay it. My question would really be, do you guys, and I've seen the commitment you and Tom put in, are you guys working a lot of non-standard hours? Like, is it pretty standard day? Because I know we've had council recap requests where I haven't been able to make it because I work, because it's during the day. But are you guys putting in a lot of, like, outside of regular working hours time as well? And if so, should we maybe pursue in the future potential, like, I know I've mentioned interns for you guys or things like that, something that where we can get you guys a little bit more assistance outside of just the daily 8 to 5.
So if I'm on the clock and I go past what I normally work, yes, at times. Usually towards the fall time is worse, because, you know, it's budget. I still have to be here early on time because I got other obligations at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm here until, you know, 8, 9 o'clock at night, you know, sometimes for council, you know, if it's a budget or something like that. or there's things that have to be done, it has to get done. So, but yes.
Thank you.
And the one analytics we can't get is on cable because that would cost about $40,000 to get that review, and we're not going to pay that. So, but just real quick here, a few of the popular shows that we had added from last year that's going on is the Folklores. There is a little history half-hour program. It's really neat. It's been done by another community station that they let us have. So I'll just have a little preview here real quick, and I'll make it quick.
Hello, friend. Hello, friend. Welcome to the Folklores.
So that's been one really good program. It's a history. So if you're a history buff, that's a good one. The next one here real quick, the Jet Set is a travel show, and they usually tailor to national broadcasters, but they were kind enough to actually promo the video for us here in Marshfield. So take a look.
On each episode of the Jet Set, we have your passport to travel, food, lifestyle tips, and fun.
That's right. Hang out with us and buckle up for the talk and tips you need to be an expert traveler, live better, and be inspired to embrace the on-the-go lifestyle.
Don't miss the Jet Set right here on Marshfield Now.
So that's kind of cool, where you can get somebody from a national production, and actually do something for a community station, which they would normally do for someone that's going to pay for it. So, and then Wisconsin Rewind, Wisconsin Iowa, we carry their news
Rewind
program that plays daily.
Of legislative maps have been submitted to the state's
I won't play the rest of it because it might upset somebody. But and then lastly here, we do a print guide here. I put it all on your table. I print this out every Friday, so I try to get as much information by Thursday afternoon to get this. This is actually pretty light here, so I printed it on a laser printer so you can see the color. We usually do that. I do this on a inkjet printer, but we put this out here, this TV guide, Marshfield News, local events guide. So it's got pretty much in there from city news to events and stuff like that. ODC in Marshfield here comes into our studio and picks up all these guides from us, and they distribute them throughout the city at the library, community center, Melody Gardens, and a few other places. And usually when I go out to the library and all that, I'll make a visit out there. I can usually only find one of these, and I print about 80 of them every Friday morning and assemble and fold all these. So there was community members that were asking for a print form, and they love it. So hopefully later on this half this year here, we're going to change the format. I'm going to do a little bit bigger, so it's just a little bit more nicer there. So, but yeah, this is what we've started here just recently last year. So everybody kind of loves this little guide here. So, and that's about it. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we have one more.
Natasha?
Thank you, David. That was an excellent presentation, and I had no clue that New Zealand was a big watcher.
I know.
Who knew? So just because we think about budgets and finances all the time, would you happen off the top of your head to know how much money it would cost to have 1 hour of filming and then the editing that would take place with that?
So if I based it off of a commercial rate from, let's say a production house, I won't name a name, but usually it's about $750 an hour. And that's, on site. And then usually the edit times are probably around in the $400 an hour range on commercial end. So, the big broadcasters, a lot of them have their own creative services department that will go out and do commercials and that doesn't include, having it aired at all. So, there are community stations that do charge, maybe $250 for a 1 minute video, but we're kind of talking about that to generate some extra revenue that can be helpful to our department because we don't operate off the general fund. So we're just strictly off of franchise fees. So
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you, David
Yep.
and Tom, for everything that you do. Can I just ask the council, how many of you actually have watched any of these programs? Don't answer the question, just think about it. And have you shared with anybody else? Do your wives or husbands watch the council meetings when you're here? Which will get a little bit of help. And then if you have, no, seriously, and then maybe their friends, when they go to coffee, maybe they say, hey, guess what happened at the council meeting last night? Well, I didn't, well, maybe, watch it next time. Not that you have to watch every council meeting, but it would be one more way to engage. And again, like I always tell people, when you go to the City of Marshfield website, that little zero on the top with the envelope in, how many of you have signed up for that also? So you get the daily and the weekly and the hourly news that comes up, which is a really great thing to have also. And tell your friends, because that's, in my business, word of mouth is the best way to make it happen because you don't spend any money. But if we share and we are the voice of the people, what an impact would that be? And then if your wives or husbands share and your kids and your friends, the audience also, what a blow up we could have in this town. We could have 80,000 people watching in Marshfield instead of only 18,000, just as of course, I'm a big thinker, so that's the way I think. But anyway, just a little comment there and just a little food for thought. Steve?
Yeah, and I'd like to add, I've seen some of the Marshfield Now programs. You do a great job on that, David. And some good stuff's being produced by David and Tom, and I would encourage people to check it out as well.
All right, thank you. Yep, I just wanted to give that update. So have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item N, second reading of ordinance number 1507, amending campus master plan for Columbus Catholic Schools located at 710 South Columbus Avenue, 1414 West 5th Street, and parcel 33-033531, presented by Steve Barg, City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. As always, when we do second readings, I'll keep it a little bit shorter than the first one, since we went through maybe a little bit more. But the gist of this is that Columbus Catholic Schools got approval for a campus master plan back in early 2023. They've been operating from that. It's a good planning document that lets the city know, what they intend to do in the coming years. We can plan for it and work together on any issues that involve a city and campus, cooperation. In this case, what they're here for now is an amendment to the plan. They had initially planned on putting a softball field addition, and now they're looking at replacing that and adding a parking area there instead. The proposed area would be extending the parking lot next to the existing Our Lady of Peace parking lot for 99 new stalls to the south. And as part of that, besides giving up the future softball field, they will no longer be going forward with the original plan that would have added 76 parking stalls on the property across on the other side of Columbus Avenue. And that was something that had come up again by some residents who were concerned back in the original plan discussion in this room about the impact that might have on traffic, stormwater, and other things in their neighborhood. So it's kind of a win-win. Staff would recommend, the Plan Commission recommended approval, and staff would also recommend approval of ordinance number 1507.
We have a motion by Alderman Marshall, second by Alderman Weigel. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion passes. Thank you. Request to approve the appointment of Chris Michelson, 1507 West 7th Street, to Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Committee to complete an unexpired term ending in April 2025. And you have it in your packet, his resume. No action this evening. On the February 13th meeting, we will vote on that. The council will vote on that. Item P, suggested items for further agendas. Alderman Werman?
I may be mistaken. I'm pretty sure I have the revised packet. I don't think Chris's resume was in the packet, though. I think it ends, for me, the one that I have pulled up ends with Columbus plans.
I will send that out. That's my error.
That's right. Thank you.
Any items for further agendas?
Madam Mayor, do I still have the floor? I realized I could actually roll right into that.
Absolutely. And thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. I was hoping that, and Steve, this could be an offline thing, but if we want to discuss it publicly, that'd be great. But potentially having some sort of tool for availability. We talk a lot about special meetings and things like that. I know the last one that we had scheduled, I wasn't able to make. It was kind of a last minute thing, and I know we have a lot of rush meetings. We were just talking about the budget ones, though, coming up. I don't know if we could discuss the possibility of some sort of scheduling tool or poll or something like that going forward with multiple availabilities, and then maybe pick the best one, because I know a lot of us are just...
You mean software is what you're referring to?
Or, I mean, I know there's, even if you did an Excel that we sent out something, it could be simple, it could be more advanced. I know there's a site called Doodle that I've used. I don't know what our rules are, though, legally, so...
Yeah, no, and I've used Doodle in the past. That's a good tool. There may be others.
Something like that would just make it a little bit easier. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good suggestion.
Alderman Tompkins? There you go. Yep.
I have a new microphone with like a funny button. Is it working now? Oh, it's working now. Sorry. It's got I don't know if it's heat sensitive or what. Anyhow, as part of the budget meetings that Mr. Berg was talking about, I'm wondering if we could also talk about the CIP.
Yeah.
And are you planning to put that in? And is this something that you're hoping to do in like February? Because CIP comes up in May.
Well, again, I'm probably not supposed to talk much under this particular category, but we'll definitely incorporate that as part of the discussion we're having that I mentioned earlier.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Any others? Seeing none, we will adjourn to closed session under Wisconsin Statute Chapter 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is our oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, claims for recovery of unlawful taxes, 2 cases, and closed session under Wisconsin Statute Chapter 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public businesses, whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Request related to development project in Mill Creek Business Park. We have a motion by Alderman Weigel, a second by Alderman O'Reilly. All those in favor, please vote. We are in closed session. Thank you.